Welcome to the Safe Par Golf Podcast, where two average golfers talk about golf and things. I'm your host, Eric.
I'm going to have the fact checker, as in Greg, tell me if this mic sucks. We got a new one. I stole it from Derek. It glows red. I think it kind of looks like something out of Star Wars. But Greg, if it sucks, let me know. Luis, we have like a fact checker. He's like an unofficial part of the pod. So if we say something that is like amazingly wrong, I'll get a message.
Yes.
And that is Dom, by the way.
I am Dom.
This is episode 180. We have a very special guest today. We're welcoming Luis with NBG Collective. NBG stands for Nice Ball Golf. Their price points are meant to be accessible to all while providing a custom, unique piece of apparel. Luis, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited.
Yeah, like we had mentioned before. Go ahead, Dom.
Stop it. Something I really like before we get too into it is I like that it's Golf Collective and not like Golf Co, Golf Company, Golf whatever. When I did my little like unboxing review, and I would have opened the box on camera, but like I don't know who delivered it, but it looked like they had like rummaged through it already. And I'm like, no, that's not a very good look on your packing. It's fine. Everything was there. Like it was all sealed, but I was like, damn, somebody opened it. I screwed it up 3 times. So I'm like, Golf Co. And I'm like, no, Golf Company. And then I'm like, it's a Golf Collective. So I like that it's just a little different, but it's different enough to be like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. It was like natural. I don't know how it started, but like, I was like doing videos and I was like, hey, it was good. Nice Ball Golf community, nice ball. And then I would be like, what's good, NBG? And like, eventually it just came out. I was like, what's good, NBG Collective? And then it just stuck. And I think it took like somebody making fun of me, like one of my wife's friends, like a friendly make fun of. They like saw me and they're like, NBG Collective, we out here. And I'm like, okay, that's it. That's got to be it.
I love it. So we definitely want to talk about your company that you started, apparel company. But you obviously are a content creator as well. How did you get into the game of golf?
Ooh, golf. Yeah. So I grew up in 2 places. I'm originally from Chile, Santiago, Chile, South America. I came to the United States when I was probably like 2 years old. So I've been here all my life. I go back to Chile. They don't accept me. The Southerners never accepted me. They're like, who's this dude, right? And so, but my life started pretty much in California, and then my family moved to Georgia. So in Georgia, I grew up in a town called Peachtree City. Peachtree City is infamous for having like 100 miles worth of golf cart trails that people all own golf carts and can drive golf carts pretty much anywhere in town, the G Ride. And within aside from there being almost 100 miles of golf cart trails, there's golf courses everywhere. And so when we moved there, my backyard was on a par 5, hole 16, Braylon Country Club. And my grandpa, who was an avid golfer at the time, all his life, encouraged my dad to be like, y'all should golf. You live on the golf course, you might as well. And so that kind of spawned golf for me. I was probably like 11 or 12 at the time. And before golf, I would use the golf course as like my skimboard palace. Like you grow up in Georgia and there's thunderstorms all throughout the summer. And for like 30 minutes, the golf course is like perfect glass layer of water. And it's like this little troubled, whatever, mischievous 11, 12-year-old, me and the neighborhood kids would literally go and like skimboard on the course and like get yelled at by the ranger and chased. And like, it was ridiculous. But eventually I turned that access into like golf. And so it kind of like, everyone in the neighborhood, everyone in that town golfed. So it was kind of like, and it's not country club style and it's not quite muni. It's like a community membership, right? To these like Flat Creek courses. And they're all muni like. They're like Griffith Park, they're like Rancho, but they're just in neighborhoods. And so everybody golfed. Everybody went to the clubhouse. Everyone went there in the summertime for like the pool, or like people would just eat at the restaurant. It was kind of like the kick it spot for like at least like middle school and high school. And so it was kind of like, yeah, might as well golf.
And that was it, huh? The rest is history.
Kinda. I mean,
Yeah.
like golf started at like 12. I learned I was always tiny, right? And so like my first set was like this women's set that was still too big for me. Like I didn't
Mhm.
grow into my body until I was probably like 16, 17. Um, and yeah, that's it, it kind of just started there. It's like there's nothing to do in the summer, right? Except like sports.
Sure.
In Georgia, it's like it's not like California where I'm at now. It's like there's no sidewalks there, right? There's nothing. You got to drive like 10, 15 minutes to get anywhere. So it's like, what do you do? You know?
Was there a point in time where you, when you're playing golf, and then you kind of took a break for several years, and then kind of picked it back up? Because I know we've had some other people on the podcast in the past where they either started at a young age and then kind of set it aside, whether they're going to school or whatever it might be, or they were playing a different sport in maybe high school or college, and then they picked it up after they graduated. Is that something that you just continued to play as you got older, or something you kind of set aside for a while and then picked it back up?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that because that's exactly what happened. I feel like, I think I started golfing, like I said, it was like 11 or 12. And I learned the fundamentals then. I remember like one set of lessons, and I just kind of learned that I had a natural swing, right? And so I locked in all the core young. And then probably around when I got my license, like 15, 16. um, people started drifting, right? Like we weren't just like younger kids, people started getting cars and people started going to parties, and then people got girlfriends. And so golf kind of became this thing that like just didn't do as much. And what took over was skateboarding for me. Um, Again, you're in a town, there's nothing to do. What do? You go hang out behind Kmart and skateboard all day and get harassed and like run from the cops, and then they're gone, and then you go back out there. But if I traded the golf course for like behind Kmart and,
Well,
and skateboarding.
skateboarding was a cool thing to do though when you were younger versus golf was. I mean, it isn't like what it was. Golf is actually cool to do now.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
where
I
a while,
mean,
before it wasn't. It was kind of that stuffy, specific kind of demographic of people were playing.
yeah, it wasn't like the cool thing to do. But it was like so accessible in Peachtree City that it wasn't quite stuffy yet. Like it was
Okay,
definitely golf, right? But it was also like there was so much golf everywhere in this town, that everyone just played. And like I said, it wasn't like a country club. Like there was some neighborhoods like Whitewater Creek, right, where like the mansions were, and that was more
Mhm.
country club esque. Like you'd have to go and play with somebody, member wise. Same with these courses, like the one I lived on, but like it wasn't country club. It was like Muni vibes that you just had to be a member of, and so
gotcha.
it was it was more open than the typical kind of like first country club kind of experience. I definitely have been went to country clubs. Like my grandpa living in Palm Springs was a member at Avondale, so we'd go there a bunch, and just different experiences. But yeah, I was kind of blessed to like not necessarily experience that stuffiness right away. It was just kids playing, like.
Sure. How far is it from like Atlanta?
So Peachtree City is about 30 minutes south of Atlanta. When people ask
Okay.
me, I typically start with I'm 30 minutes south of Atlanta in Fayette County.
Okay.
Georgia's separated in a bunch of counties, right? So you kind of drop the county first, at least I do. So I grew up in Fayette County. And then if somebody's like, oh, and they kind of know, I'm like, yeah, Peachtree City. Fayette County is made up of like Noonan, Fayetteville, um, little towns like that. And so, yeah, 30 minutes south of Atlanta, not too far.
I've only had I've been to Atlanta once, but it's just for a layover, and that was the only time I've ever missed a flight because it was they changed the gate, and of course Atlanta is but the busiest airport I think in the world, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it's got a
Yeah,
train.
yeah, we missed it. We sat down, we were eating, and we thought we had plenty of time. Then we realized like, oh no, we need to go. Started running. They just shut the door. I'm like, oh, luckily they had another flight going out, so really we didn't have to wait too long. But that's my experience with Atlanta. I do have a couple of friends that live out there, and I'd like to go out there. It looks beautiful, but
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a different place from when it was when I grew up. It's just a completely different city. It's like a completely different city in like the best way possible, I think. But yeah, Atlanta's dope.
Sure. Dom, did you get selected for the Masters? Are we going to Georgia this year or what?
You know, no, hate to
Dang
like
it.
hate to. Were you?
No, I would have told you. We
Would
would
you
have been
take me
going.
though, or would you go with like your brother?
No, if
See,
because he's not
see,
really
you have to
he's not
think
really
about
big
it
into,
though.
well, just because like I was like, well, he used to be like really big into it, but honestly, probably not. And we
Would
could
we
create some
try
awesome
to?
content out there.
Well, no, because we can't bring our phones in.
Well, you can do well. No, I mean like leading up to it. Like taking
Oh,
getting the
I
experience.
was like,
But I
I
think
was
they
like,
change
damn,
it now.
how we gonna sneak in like a phone? Like, are we like
Oh yeah,
Easter egg or
you'll
like
get
like?
banned forever if they catch you. You're
Yeah,
crazy.
Well, I
yeah,
mean, what are the odds we go back though? You know what I
that's
mean?
right. See, first and last time.
Yeah. See,
We'll actually get banned on
everybody
Instagram
says
too.
that, and I'm like, the amount of people that don't go astronomically high, right? The amount of people that get to go more than once is probably astronomically higher. So if I get banned for life for bringing my phone in, I'm probably not ever going back.
Speaking of Greg and fact checking, I really
Oh
would like
no.
to have him fact check this. But the Masters, I believe, just launched a new like ticket package, and I think it starts at like 200 and some $1,000. But it basically you get like it includes lodging and all. I mean, $219,000.
Oh,
That's insane. I don't know if you saw that on Instagram, but there was an article about it.
Where's the lodging? Like, is it on like the 18th
That's
hole
that's
or?
why we have Greg to fact check us to make sure. But
where is the
there
lodging,
was.
Greg?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, regardless, 200 and some $1,000. That's insane. But
Wow.
that's crazy. So okay, so we're not going to Augusta this year. All right, well,
No,
that's
we are
okay.
definitely not.
Dang it.
Unless somehow we know somebody who knows somebody who can get us there.
There we
I
go.
don't know
Okay.
anybody like that though.
I think you have a good chance. Like, if you just show up and you're in Augusta during Masters time, like last year, this last one, right?
Mhm.
Melbourne out
Mhm.
of nowhere went on IG and was like, Stephen Melbourne was like, I got extra tickets if you're in the area for a practice round pull up. So I
That's
think
sick.
step one, get to Augusta. Step two, find some lodging of some sort, right? And then wait.
It's not a bad idea. I like it. Uh,
I feel like we would have to like lodge now
Oh yeah.
for sure. That
or like
books up pretty
yesterday.
quickly.
Like I'm sure it's full already.
Like, let's book it right now. I'm gonna pop on right here on the web. Just kidding. Okay, Luis. So you obviously create golf content. You got some really cool videos. Um, how long have you been creating golf content, and like kind of what inspired you to start creating golf videos?
Yeah, let's see. I feel like I've answered this recently, so it's like fresh on my head. I think it started like, so let me just go back. 24 years old, I left Atlanta and came back to the Bay, right? And I think it was probably shortly after, maybe at 30. I'm almost 40 now, guys.
You
Which
look
is
good for almost 40.
What?
I'm 36, so man, I
I
would have
mean,
never guessed
I
that.
understand that I am a baby. I am younger than like everybody I've ever met, but holy shit.
I will be 39 this year.
Oh man,
So I came back to California when I was like 24. And I want to say like 29, 30, I started golfing again. I picked it up again throughout my life. It had always like stayed with me,
hmm
on and off. You never lose that skill. I feel like if you learn it young enough, you'll never lose it, right?
hmm
And then I started playing a lot with my cousin. My cousin was a personal trainer at the time. And so they're brothers. One of them owns a creative agency. And me being a creative person, we linked up and just started working together. But with his brother, we would golf a lot at like Mariners Point over in the Bay Area. And then that kind of like got me back into the like kind of like that obsession, right? And I was like, I got golf clubs again and everything. And I think it was like a year or two before the pandemic where I just started busting the phone out and like filming little rounds here and there that I'd play with my cousin, little holes, taking photos. I think it all started like I got like 3 feet to like a hole in one at Mariners. Mariners is like a little free course. And I took a photo of that. I think it's on my old IG. And from there, I kind of just started playing around, but it wasn't until like the pandemic hit, right? I had moved to LA at the time and I remember the pandemic hitting, and the safest thing you could do was golf, really. Like it was weirdly still kind of open. And so I golfed a lot more during the pandemic with friends and whatnot, and kind of filmed a little bit here and there. Again, I'm a creative person. Like as my business, I'm a creative strategist. I run my own creative agency. When I was talking about skateboarding earlier, I switched from golf to skateboarding and like became the filmer. So like content has always been like in my life, just like that kid filming, right? Um, but during the pandemic, I remember just golfing more and filming more. And it wasn't until John Madera from Buena Gente Golf, uh, I learned he had a golf brand. Fun fact, me and John used to work in the Bay in Silicon Valley at this company called Shopkick. That's where I met him, like
Oh
years
wow,
ago, long
small
time ago.
world.
He was like head of design there, and I was a video producer. And like, that's how I met John. And like, fast forward beyond the pandemic, I'm literally on IG one day and I'm like, John has a golf brand? What? And so I hit John up and I was like, bro, what is this? And he's like, yeah, I started a golf brand. And like at this time, John had already been at the PGA trade show. John had already like done all this stuff pre like golf rush. Like John was ahead of this. He was at the PGA trade show when like people were still buying like polos and like wholesale, where now it's like a creator fest, right?
Yep.
But I have to give credit where credit's due. And like I saw John doing his thing, like hardcore. And I was just like, I gotta get on this. I want to rep the brand. I want to know more about why you're golfing. And he's like doing content. He asked me to do so. He had seen that I was golfing and doing little bits of content, and he like asked me, like, hey, will you film something next time you're on the course? And that's kind of around the time where I was like, dude, I'm filming all the time now. Like John's doing it, I'm doing it. And literally that was like 4 years ago, 3, 4 years ago, something like that, maybe.
What a small world. John's legit. We've had him on the pod.
Yeah, it's just funny to John used to have this brand back when we were called Mayu Kepchu back at Shopkick, where it was just like cool design, kind of like what he's doing with Buena Gente, but he's a designer by heart. He led design at this company. And it didn't surprise me when I saw him. It surprised me about golf because I'm like, we never talked about golf back then. But it didn't surprise me that he was doing something with like the grip logo and something dope. Anything John touches is sick. But yeah, John kind of like was the gas to my fire of like, all right, I'm filming content now.
Shout out on Gente. That's awesome.
He needs to bring those damn jerseys back. Those are
So good. So good.
Luis, do you have like out of all like the content you've posted, is there like a video that you're like which video are you most proud of? Like doesn't necessarily have to have like the most likes, but just something that like maybe you put a lot of time and effort into that you really, really enjoyed.
I'll tell you what I'm most proud of, and it's kind of opposite of this, but I remember when I was first starting to do this, right? I was kind of solo. I didn't know many people. Uh, I decided to go to Malbon had just opened their store on Melrose here in LA, and they were doing that tailor-made Malbon drop, right? A few years ago.
Mhm.
And I remember that night I was alone. My wife was working. And I was just kind of like up till I had a night to myself, and like that was going down. It was like a weekday. And I remember kind of being there, being like, I want to like meet people. I want to get into the scene. This is kind of popping. And I convinced myself to go solo. And I pulled up, I went in. I think there was like a line and a bouncer, and I kind of just like walked up with this group that was walking in, and they were like, come in. And I went to that and I filmed everything. I was like, this is my chance. I was like, I wanted to practice just filming. This is like like Malbon was hot, but Malbon wasn't what was going on now, right?
Right. Yep.
And so I was like, I'm just gonna film this. Like, I had no idea that it was a limited drop. This is how like kind of new I am. New and not new at the same time to like this whole like drop and fashion thing. But like instead of buying anything, I had access to everything there. Obviously it was kind of expensive, but I just filmed everything. I was like, this is dope. And I copped the hat. I remember copping the hat. And I didn't really know anybody. So like I was there for like 15 minutes. I knew Stephen Malbon spent a lot of time in Atlanta. So like I tried to say what's up to him. And like I showed him I have this Atlanta tattoo on my neck. And I remember him
Oh
being like,
dang.
He's like, A-Town, stay down. And I was like kind of starstruck. I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, should have chatted with him. But anyway, I went home that night and I was like, I edited a video immediately and was just like, hey, I just went to this Melbourne drop, whatever, and posted it that night. And this is like back when I was getting like 100 views on videos. And that video blew up. Like TaylorMade reposted it. I don't know if I was supposed to post it that early because it was like an exclusive drop, but like I got the TaylorMade repost. I got all these views. It like broke like 30K or something. And like that was my first time seeing the power of like something going viral in the golf community, Melbourne, all this other stuff. And it was very low effort. It's funny, you were like, what did you put like time and love in? It was really just me being like, I'm gonna get out and film this. And like came home that night before it was like midnight, edited, loaded it up, woke up the next morning, was like, whoa, this kind of blew up.
That's so
um,
cool.
but that was like a cool moment because it just kind of was like a sign to be like, just get out and do stuff.
So you kind of talked about Malbon and all that. Is there like a video that's ever led you to like a really cool opportunity, like maybe a collab, or maybe an event invite, kind of someone similar like what you'd mentioned, or a partnership?
Yeah, I think the first cool little like free PR I got as a small creator was with Superstroke. I remember at this time I'm just doing videos on my own. Like brand deals aren't really a thing like they are now. And this was only like 3 years ago. It's not even that long ago. But I fell in love with the Superstroke grips instead of the wind grips, like the padded ones for the driver. And I filmed a video of me just re-gripping my driver and going to Roger Dunn and like getting it done and all. And I tagged Superstroke in it because I happened to use them. And they reached out and they're like, dope video. And I don't know what led to it, but they're like, we're going to send you some stuff. And it wasn't even like, it was just like super casual, like, bro, we'd love to send you some stuff. Like, what's your address? And so I gave my address and I got a box of like grips. I got a box of a bunch of putter grips, a bunch of iron grips. I got some aprons, like people that work on regripping
Sure.
some of those. Like, but dude, it was like my first free box of gear. And on top of that, like Superstroke was big. Like Spieth was using Superstroke. Like everyone was still using them. And like I was just like, they sent me something. It was sick because I didn't even ask. They like it just organically happened. And I think that was like my first and still coolest moment because it was just straight out of love. They were like, yeah, dude, we'll send you some, sure.
That is so cool. Did you get like a high from it? Like, oh, I'm gonna do something else to try to see who else can. Did you get that? Because I feel like that's kind of how once we started kind of building up the platform, you're like, oh, people, because every company is a little bit different as far as their generosity. Some of them have a higher budget than others, and like you said, they kind of can really get creative with it, like with the apron and all that kind of stuff. That's so cool. Are there any other ones that you're like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do?
Yeah, at the time I was like, I started tagging everybody in like what I was wearing. At the time, like I would buy a lot of Grayson. I was really into Grayson. Like it was just classy, it was chill. Again, this was like 3-4 years ago. So like Grayson was still dope, but like I would tag them and like I'd get responses. Like it's not they wouldn't like send me anything, but like they'd go on IG and they're like, "Yo, welcome to the Wolf Pack," saying things like that. So I just started tagging more brands and stuff that I was doing and noticing that the golf world was like smaller then, but like more people like brands like that would engage. And yeah, it was cool. I just kept doing it more. I think I got some love from like Pit Viper. I got some love from Takis.
Oh,
Random
legit
brand.
Takis. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
I tried to get on the
Dom,
Liquid Death radar, but I was like, they were like, no, there's no.
nah. Dom, is there anything that you might want to ask or mention regarding just like the content side of things before we move into the apparel side?
So talking about all this makes me think of a story Ty told me. So we work with like a really badass videographer. His name's Ty. He does 1-8 visuals. He works with Roger Steele. Everybody right now he's at what is it, the BMW Championship working with Jordan Spieth. Thanks to I want to say thanks to me, but I know it's also because of Derek. So
Nice.
you don't listen, but you're welcome, big guy. But Ty was doing something with his company and they sent him a box. And he's like, oh, it's a heavy ass box. And he's digging through everything. He's like, oh, this box is real heavy. They sent him like 2 pounds of weed on top of like everything in their catalog. And he messaged me, he goes, guys, what am I supposed to do with all this? And they're like, use it. Like, what do you talk? I can't
Whatever
think of
you
the
want to do
company,
with it.
but it's like one of those like golf, cannabis, weed companies. And he goes, bro, they sent me like 2.5 pounds of straight up weed. And now I wish I had 2.5 pounds of weed. I'm like, bro, like, just reach out to him
That's
again.
that's
It's
wild.
it's funny how like something so small can lead to something just major. Um, the issue with how I operate is I wish I wore more brands. But I've kind of only started wearing brands that care about Derek and I. So a lot of the stuff I wear, some people I already know. So like brand outreach hasn't happened because I'm not tagging anybody new.
Yeah.
Um, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like I want to wear apparel that people that Derek and I could interact with make, show support. I wear a lot of Buena Gente. Looking at my closet, there's a lot of Four Bros. Especially like on the golf side, it's a lot of Kingsman, Two Friends Golf, just kind of stuff like that. But it's always cool to hear. It's like, yeah, I'd take somebody and then boom, big box of Takis, or boom, big old box of grips that you'll never run out of, and um, by no means are we like huge creators or influencers or anything, but every once in a while a box shows up and I still get pumped. I'm like, I know what's coming, but it's still pretty cool.
Always a
Four
great feeling.
Bros, yeah,
I
Four
love
Bros is supposed to send us stuff, but they're like, bro, with all the tariffs, it's been at the port for like 3 weeks, and I'm like, well, whenever you send it, I'll make a video or whatever. So it's funny how
so
everything kind of falls into place.
there's something about getting a box from like a brand
Mhm.
and like repping that. I think for me it's cool because I feel like it's like part of like the like not like being sponsored, but like it just feels cool to be like getting like apparel that I'm gonna go golfing. I feel like an athlete, less than like a creator because I've always wanted to be golf forward, right? My whole thing is golf. My content is kind of my life too, but like I like to make sure it's like golf forward. And when I get gear, like I get stuff from Fabletics, right? I feel like I want to wear that on the course because I'm like, this is what it's meant for, right?
Yep.
I'm meant to go golf in this. And like, I feel cool when people are like, oh, you rock Fabletics. I'm like, yeah, they sent this to me. Like, growing up in skating, right? All the homies were like sponsored and, super good, right? I was just the filmer. A lot of them like went pro and whatnot. And like they would always get free gear. But it's like there's something about skating and Nikes that like came from Nike, even if it was Flow, that like you didn't pay for. And you're like you putting them to use. And like that's what I feel about with apparel, at least nowadays. And I'm kind of like with you, Dom. Like I've sensed like I still like all the brands. And again, when you dig deeper into like my mission about MBG Collective, I'm not against golf brands selling like expensive gear because that's for a certain demo. But like when it comes to me, like I want to make my stuff accessible to everybody as a price point, right? So it's not like overly gouged in price. And so with that mentality kind of like sinking in, I've like worn less brands. And like to your guys' point, repped more Buena Gente, repped more of my homie stuff, right? Put that on the map, repped more of the Fabletic stuff, even though they're huge. Like they've been sending me stuff for a year and like I make content for them, but it's just like the relationship is dope and like it's made me grow to like love it. I'm in Fabletics gear right now, but like there's a bigger meaning to it. And maybe this is a good segue, but like that's definitely a big part of like why I started the MBG collective as far as an apparel brand.
So I
Uh,
think, so like today, I played just a little exact, but everything I had, I either paid for or it's somebody that I know. Like shirts, I had on my back nine bullies t-shirt. I know John. I love John.
Love John.
John to
I do too.
pieces.
I rock the
We know.
T-shirt all the time. It's
We
legit.
know. And then I had your shorts on. Fabulous shorts. They're great. We will talk about them. Don't even worry. But then it's like even like the hat's not a well-known brand. It's Bad Golf Co. out of Minnesota. It's my one of my good friends, Jess. She started her own company, and it says all lip, no hole. Guys in the pro shop loved it, and then my birdie chip lipped out, and I was like, damn it, I've never been so mad in my life. But even like at the Shindig, like everyone's like, oh, where'd you get these bags? That we gave away. We work with Omnics. They're great people. They're the bags Derek and I use. And even like I have every speaker color other than the red. We work with pinned all the time. And it's our way to not only thank these companies, but also like not like expose them because everybody knows pinned, everybody knows, XYZ, but it's like first-hand experience with a lot of these companies is not possible depending where you live. Like I've never gone into a store and seen a pinned rangefinder or a pinned speaker. Maybe I'm wrong, but giving
Did
people a
actually see
chance.
one the other day at a
Did
golf
you?
pro shop. Yeah, at the
Oh well, we
Planet
saw
Golf
one at
event.
where were we? Media Day.
Mm-hmm.
But
Somebody, oh
that's
yeah, in
not
the pro shop.
but that's not like a Dick's Sporting Goods though.
Right, right.
Because you and I would not be allowed on that golf course if it wasn't for Media Day. He's not paying attention. It's okay.
No,
But
I'm just looking at my next question here.
moral of the story, you gotta wear what your friends make. I'm always the photographer of the group. I'm not always in all the pictures, but I'm always wearing what my friends make. I got my camera wall, whatever, my camera's in my bag. I'm always shooting, I'm always taking pictures. But behind the camera, I'm always wearing something that somebody I know made or, spent a lot of time designing. And I think
Yeah.
from your design background, I'd love to see somebody wear something I designed or have a picture I took in their house. I think that's also a form of flattery.
Yeah, dude, I was at Oakmont. I was at what was that? Was that the U.S. Open? Yeah, I was at
Pokemon
the
Country Club? Yeah, yep.
this year, and I saw a lot of brands, right? But like out of nowhere, this dude's wearing a back nine bullies hat, and I reached out to John. I'm like, bro, look, there ain't that many brands out there, but yours is. Like, you're in a sea of good and Callaway and like Bob Does Sports. And then there's a back nine bullies hat. I'm like, what? And it's worn too. Like this guy loved the hat. I was like, yo, like I was flattered. I was like, I had that moment for him. I'm like, that's my boy.
Dude, I was in the little ad for them when I was out there. We played with John in Anaheim. It was Ralph, myself, Ralph from Los Calferos, John, and then his videographer Dre. Dre's super dope. Um,
Demondre.
yeah,
Demondre.
yeah.
Dre.
I couldn't think of his handle. But he's like, "Hey, you're wearing all back nine bullies gear." I'm like, "We'll do it." I knew we were gonna play together. Like, of course, I got the shorts and I got a shirt on. And he goes, "Grab a hat and just act natural." I'm like, "Bro, there's nothing about me that's natural in front of a camera." And they're like, "We just gotta act natural." I'm like, well, "I want to make fun of Ralph," and they're like, "Don't make fun of Ralph." And I'm like, "Then it's not gonna be natural." And then before I know it, I'm hitting a ball. The song that I had suggested was on it. I did No Sweat by Key Glock because it's like, duh, banger, stupid banger. And before I know it, I'm in a commercial that John posts, and he goes, "Do I have your consent to be my model?" And I'm like drunk on a golf course that we were playing, and I'm like, "Dude, don't even ask for it. Like, just fucking do it. Let's go." And he goes, "Bro, I got you some Tinder pictures." I'm like, "Let's go. Like, let's do it." And it's one of those moments where I'm like this is so stupid, and none of my friends are gonna care. But like to me, I'm like that is like one of the coolest things I've ever done, and it's because it's John and Back Nine Bullies, and I have a relationship with John, and I love the brand, and I wear the brand constantly. That I'm like that's cool that I have such a small part in kind of their company, and I hope it blows up. And yeah, no, seeing Back Nine Bullies gear in the wild is always a fun one. And then he's like, "Hey, take whatever you want out of this box." So I left with like everything. I had to ship it home.
I love it. I think I saw that photo of you. Honestly, you had your hair down, right?
My hair is always down.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah,
I think
there's
you
like a
were.
full video.
I think you were. I saw a photo. It might have been you in a champagne back nine bullies hat.
No, I had a tan one.
The
I had
tan
the
one. Yeah, yeah,
I had
yeah.
the new unstructured. So my favorite Back Nine Bullies product is their classic unstructured. It came in navy and white or black and white, and I wore it until like the brakes fell off. So I
Are you
took
talking about the baseball style one?
yes.
Yeah, I love that one too. Yeah,
So
Oh, I can't see it. That's you though.
Yep,
That's
yep.
me.
It's blurred out, but you can see it.
That's me. There's like a full on video, and I was telling Dre, and I'm like, dude, like you just gotta like pick a song, go for it. He's like, well, what would you pick? I'm like, I'm really into Key Glock right now, and I think No Sweat would be a good one because it's the summer, and nothing about Back Nine Bullies is exactly quiet. Like it's a very cocky brand, knowing John. But like John is cocky, but like also humble. It's so hard to like describe him to people. Um, Ralph told me he's like Jesse from Stogies and Bogies, but shorter. And I've never felt something in my soul more than that after interacting with John in person. Um, but that moment, I was like, "That's sick! Like that's me. That's me." So I had to post it on my own page. So I'm like, "That's just like the coolest thing I've ever done out there."
Sick.
It was cooler than the Shindig. I hate to say it. I got sunburned at the Shindig, so it's like don't even really want to remember it. You ever have your like your ankles get sunburned? That's the worst. I never want to do it again. And then go back to sleep in an Airbnb. What are you doing, Derek?
Oh, I was just waiting for you to finish up. I was going to ask, as far as the NGB collective. So, um, you kind of touched about kind of what inspires you. Would you want to maybe kind of go in a little bit more detail of why you started it and when you started the NGB collective?
MBG. MBG Collective. Yeah, MBG Collective. I mean, it all started with the vlogging, right? It was kind of like how I would sign in and out of vlogs. What's good, MBG Collective? We out here. And it started with that, and it just kind of caught on. Like I said, like I had the friend that like kind of made fun of me about it, and it was like in a joking way. But like the more people like I would meet, and like even friends that I knew, that was like it stuck. Everyone was like MBG Collective, and I was like, I got to do something with this, right? And like the whole MBG Collective is really just you guys. It's everybody. It's everybody that interacts with my page, with the content. Like for me, I'm big on like I love a space, a positive space where everybody can like be, right? The whole thing is like whether you're a 5 or a 20 handicap, everybody's got a nice ball in them. It's true though. Like that's the beauty about golf. And that's the very thing that keeps us coming back. It's like you can play literally 17 holes of like trash golf, and on 18 you hit one shot and you're like, run it back, run it
You made
back.
birdie. Yeah,
Make a
exactly. Double,
birdie,
triple
smoke a
bogeys. I'm seeing
drive.
it for
It's
sure.
like
I agree.
that's, and for me, that's what it's all about. And like everybody has that, whether you just started or like you're Tiger, right? Like everyone's got that ability. And I think that's so cool, especially with golf. Like you can't do that with other sports, right? And so that's the whole ethos behind the MBG collective. And then just creating a space like for people of all types of like skill level or like fashion-esque people or non-fashion people, everyone to just come and like talk golf, right? I feel like golf is a very, I hate to say it in like this way, but like it's very gate kept, right? It's like a lot of what's going on with golf is very much like a cool kids club, and like it's supposed to be opposite of that, right? Like Tiger Woods paved the way for like African Americans and people of color and anybody else to come and play amongst the sport that was like super white dominated, right? And changed the game, right? And so like I feel like a lot of what's kind of happening with golf and like fashion especially is like very going back to that in this weird backwards way. And like I very much want to be like an advocate of like, hey, that's whack, dude. Like again, back nine bully, like bully the bullies, right? Like I'm not that like it's that, but very much promoting like the underdog, right? The unseen, unheard voices, right? Stuff like that. And like to have a voice, like you have a voice with the MBG collective as a whole, like we'll all stand up and like say F that, like but it then that came out more, and the more I did that, people would resonate. I'd get a bunch of DMs from people, like I'd go on a story and just rant just like I did, and people were like, dude, I feel the same way. I feel like golf's kind of going in this weird way, and that kind of gave me more like direction, and like I need to continue kind of promoting that brand for the MBG collective, and just like be that voice for everybody, and just create a space that, is positive, dude. It's like enough of the negativity, bro. Like, not to be like peace, love, but like it's true, let it be about golf. And that's kind of from there. I've always wanted to make some merch too, right? Working with John at Buena Gente, I learned a lot of like how he does it, right? I by no means am making apparel. I always want to say I'm making merch because like what John does, I don't know if you guys saw his like new the zip that like the multiple, like it turns into
Yes.
a jacket, then a vest. And
Yes.
John designed that from his brain to
That
cater
is
to someone.
not to like interrupt you, but that is like the single coolest thing I have seen in golf in a very long time.
Dude, it's sick. Like, and like behind the scenes, he'd been working. I worked with John. Like, I hopped on and did some marketing support for Buena Gente and stuff like that. And like, he's been working on that for some time. But like, to see that come to life from like a tech pack to that, and then he does the video and it's like, cool, it's a jacket. And then he takes the sleeves off. Oh, I've seen somebody else do that. Cool. And then he takes the entire thing off. I'm like, now it's a vest. I'm like, what? And it's Guayabera pattern. I'm like, dude. And so like I say that to say like I'm not by no means making apparel like that. Like shout out John, shout out people like Diego at Quiet Golf, right? He's like sourcing material, making it and like putting together clothes, right? I'm putting my logo on like things that I pick, right? And I feel like I would rock. And so that, that background with John allowed me to kind of see that. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to make something that people will rock if you're like feeling the MBG collective kind of thing.
So when John dropped that video of him with the jacket on, Ralph and I were at Disneyland in line for one of the Star Wars rides, and we're watching it, and Ralph's like, "Oh, it's a jacket," and then John goes, "No," and then sleeves come off, and I'm just like, "What is this?" And Ralph's like, "Oh no, it's sleeveless," and then John's like, "No," and then bam, it's a vest on, and Ralph and I were just like, "What the hell did we just watch?" Like,
That's it.
and of course, John is just very like nonchalant with his videos. He's just like, "Hey, this is what it is," and then boom, it's over. Um, it's honestly one of the coolest things I've seen golf related in a very long time because it feels very original. And hearing that John took the time to design from the ground up, it feels very John in a way, right? Like I hate saying that people like overdo things, and I never say it in like a negative way, but you could tell like he like thought of absolutely everything that could ever happen with that thing
Oh
and
yeah.
just threw it out the window and was like, no, we're doing it my way.
Dude, the amount of designs and samples no one's ever seen that I've seen John make and come in and he's like, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. It's like, dude, that's sick. We should release that. Like, the man he knows what he wants and he knows what's quality and he's going to be a manufacturer's nightmare until he gets it
Well,
right.
that's just like me and like my pictures. I took 440 of them at my last session on Friday. And I'm going through all of them and I'm like, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Winner, hate it, hate it, hate it. So it's like 150 of them is what I ended up using. And it's not even like 150 different pictures because I did some of them four ways and then some of them are just black and white. So really, it's like 100 pictures of the 440 of them I took. And
Yeah.
I'm like, at some point, once you have like a craft or an art that you're really into, you're passionate about, you kind of have to be picky. Where like if I were to show like if I were to show Derek like every picture I took, he'd be like, "Oh, these are all great," and I'm like, "Yeah, I hate that one. I really hate that one." Like there's just a different mindset that I think your average consumer or even just like casual golfer would never understand.
Yeah. I mean, that's the love. That's literally the love that goes into like a finished product. And that's why people fall in love with it because it's like from the brain to paper to reality and it's somebody's vision. And like once it's right, like that's why people fall in love with stuff because they got it right, and everyone's process is different. It might take 100 samples for this person and it might take I got these hats. I got lucky. They sent me the sample. I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Again, I have a big head. I need a hat that fits. I need a taller crown. Like, First try, boom, done. They sent me the sample with the MBG stuff on it. I'm like, you nailed it. Like I'm when it's good, I'm easy to please. But then you have somebody like John that's like, it's not perfect yet. It's not perfect yet. And when it comes out perfect, it is. Like it's just
Well, it was like his video today or yesterday. I mean, I've been unemployed for like a month and a half, so everything kind of feels like just one big day and just like a bunch of naps in between. Um, don't give me that look. Don't say it.
I'm not saying anything.
I signed it today. Don't worry. Um, and he was like, "Hey, like I want to send these shirts out end of July," and it's like halfway through August at this point. He's like, "Yeah, just not it,
Not
not
gonna
perfect, guys." And I'm like, I'm like, I want my shirt, but I'm also like,
can
okay,
respect that.
I can.
Yeah.
And it's because he like went online, made a video of him being like, "Hey, it's not ready, but they're coming." And I'm just like, hell yeah. Like it's just that transparency with companies and um just the want for perfection. Because like if I were to get like a Buena Gente shirt and I'm like, oh, this screen printing kind of, not normal for John, I'd be like, is John okay? Like, did John die and then or did this like slip through the cracks or whatever? And
I mean, look, I mean, he did that video with the skeleton hands, and he's like, literally, these are off center. I'm gonna sell them to you at a discount. They're not good enough for me. They're not good enough for you at full price. So have them for 50% off. Like,
Yeah. Speaks volumes for the type of person he is,
yeah,
for sure. So you currently have the American Dream collection on your site. Can you tell us a little bit about the collection and how you came up with the name?
yeah. I feel like it's like anybody who starts a business, it's the American dream, right? Like this is my American dream. This is like my golf version of the American dream, right? With everything I've been doing with the content creation, golf being in my life for like a large majority of it, and then to my journey now and to like again, even if it's merch, putting my idea onto paper and then into reality, and then wanting to make something of it, wanting to have a product that connects, having somebody like Dom be like, bro, these shorts are amazing, like having other people that are buying my stuff that I don't even know who they are, and I'm like, dude, like I'm a tiny brand. Like that's the American dream for me, man. And like that's why I wanted to name the first one that. It's just this is my golf American dream, and like I want people to feel that. I did a lot of lead up and like little prep videos with like sound bites about like fashion and like how the simplest fashion is what works, and kind of like little jabs at kind of this gatekeeping stuff that I was talking about. But like at the end of the day, it's like this is the American dream. It's like putting an idea to paper, making it real, and like giving it to the world. Not saying no, not like holding back, and like trying it, dude. And that's magic. Literally. If it starts here and then it becomes real, like I don't know what else to call that.
Sure. Well
okay,
said. I
don't
like
say
that.
anything. Don't stop it. I have something to add. This is why
Add it in.
this is like the
Add it
hard
in.
part of like not being in the same room or same zip code.
Or
So I think
same county
are
or
we in
same
different counties?
city.
Are we in different counties?
Yeah, you're in Anoka.
Are you in Hennepin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Same different bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be weird if you were in here.
Yeah,
I know you'd be stealing all my shoes.
I would probably be. I'd be
You're
selling
too
them.
big.
That's what I'd be selling them.
Do you follow Pare, Luis?
Hey, it was all right.
Damn. Okay. So Pare is started by this guy named Maddie.
Oh,
And
parlay.
Maddie's yeah.
Yeah, Power. Yeah.
Yes. I
So
do.
what you described is a lot like his, I don't want to say most recent because I feel like I'm like I said, it's been a big blur lately. Um, but he released a capsule called This Is My Jump Man, and it's a picture of him playing golf. And he was like, guys, this is something I've wanted to do for years. This is my love. This is like my passion project. And hearing you talk about the American Dream collection capsule, sorry, I don't remember what you called it.
American Dream. Yeah.
Well, no, I know that. I didn't remember if it was like a collection or a capsule because they're technically different in the grand scheme of things. But that feels very similar to how Maddie described it. And Maddie has since like blown up. Like he's been in France for Paris and like Fashion Week and everything. And part of me is like, gotta be cool to see you drop a collection like this and have this energy towards it. And then all of a sudden, boom, you go to Paris, you go to France, you do this, that, or the other. Or even like Daniela with Aya.
Mhm.
I don't think Danielle's been back in the States for who knows how long, but she's been in France working on her apparel. And I'm just
That's
like, gotta be so cool. Um, but I'm glad you kind of talked about it because one of the things that I like to do is I tell people when I buy things and I pay for it. I did pay for these. There's no discount code. I paid. I even had to wait for the shipping because God knows I'm not patient. Derek knows I'm not patient. Um, but I did want to kind of touch on it because you're wearing the cream and green hat. I almost went with that one, but then I'm like, I have a hat that's very similar. And as we all talked about earlier, I don't think we had started yet, but we're all kind of hat whores. So I have the camo and the orange, which is super cool. And I wish I had paid more attention during the video I had made because I love that little detail of the inner patch. It just says NBG Collective. Nothing special, no big thank you, no nothing, but like little touches like that. I
Go a
think when it
long way.
comes to like newer companies go a long way. And then even like the embroidery on the side and even the orange tip. I think these are sweet. Very happy. I've worn it a couple times. And then, you kind of talked about the shorts. These are sweet. I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone and wear shorts that aren't just black. I don't know why, but it's always black shorts with me. So I'm wearing like floral shorts or like paisley print shorts. So when I saw that these were green, I was like, I think I have stuff that match this. But
it's
I did say it in kind of my little video review. I like how thick the waistband is. It's very premium. The mesh itself is very thick and not like super see-through. I know Derek's trying to see. Good thing you can't smell them because they're a little stinky. I'm like, I don't think I have time to wash them after my 9 holes today. Because I'm like, God, I kind of want them for this. Um, but then even like right down to the lace tips being metal, I always not mine. I don't know, I'm weird like that. But just like they're very quality driven. You can tell when somebody has like a vision for their product, right? I always say like Lego is like the number one when it comes to vision to paper to design. Because somebody has to really like that product to make it into a Lego. Because God knows these ain't easy. I have a little GT3RS right here. I'll never own one in real life, but God knows I have the Lego one. You can tell when there's quality or passion put into something. These are nice. I love them. I've worn them twice already. I paid for them. I paid full price for them.
thank you, man.
I
It's
I will say, and then I will say I was gonna mention it earlier, but I took a picture of the hat and the shorts. I put them. We have a big group chat on IG, and everyone's like, "Damn, you have stuff from Luis already?" Like, this is before I had even mentioned you're coming on. This is before anything, and they're like, "Hey, like this shit's dope." And there are a couple guys that are like, I'm waiting for him to like drop a different color in this or whatever. And I'm thinking, if you think it's dope, you should just buy it.
it might not be back.
it there's a lot of companies like that, which is more power to you because it's like, hey, you should have had it, right?
Mhm.
And when I was actually out in California, Raul took me shopping down La Brea. So we went to
Mm.
like Metalwood, we went to Undefeated, we went to a Stussy. We ended up in the Carhartt Whip store, and I dropped a bag, like way too much money that day. And he goes, "Bro, you look happy in it." Like I put on a hoodie, and he's like, "Dude, you just look happy." And I'm like, "Fuck." Counter, shirt, counter. I bought a little bag, counter. And he's like, "Dude, you just look happy. So if something makes you happy, you should just buy it." So maybe I should buy a GT3
I
RS.
was going to say, you should buy the GT3 then, or GTR.
You know, should I finance my life away for a GT3 RS in Minnesota in the winter? They're all-wheel drive, I think.
It just free the antifreeze freezes. It's so cold.
Oh, so I don't know if you know this, but we have special windshield wiper fluid in the winter that goes down to 60 below.
It's crazy. You have the tunnels
Oh,
too.
what was that?
You guys have the tunnels there too, right? In Minneapolis.
Oh, the
Oh,
Skyway.
the Skyway, yeah.
Okay, it's too cold. You freeze your lungs.
Yeah,
Skyway is literally like the one of the greatest inventions ever. I love it. Actually, and in some places too in Minnesota, we have like in Duluth, they have the tunnels, like at the college campus and stuff. So they actually do have the tunnels, but downtown here
Duluth
it's
actually
Skyways.
also has steam that goes under their roads because Duluth's right on the
Mhm.
edge of Lake Superior, so it's all a big hill. Well, in the winter, what doesn't mix? Ice and hills. So there's no way to really plow them, which is kind of an issue. So they have steam that runs up and down their roads, so they're always thawed in the winter.
The
I love it
smarts.
here. I love it
Yeah.
here. We're nowhere near Duluth, but yeah, the innovation in Minnesota. But even down like the screen printing, whoever you used knocked it out of the park. Absolutely killed it.
It was
And
a
if
it's
I
a
and I don't
labor
know,
of love.
I'm not super fashionable by any sense of the word. I think mesh shorts are in, so it makes me feel like I'm younger than I should be, which is pretty cool.
Look, I'll tell you why I made my shorts. A quick story. I kept getting flooded like 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, with ads for $80 and up mesh shorts. And like I looked
Wow.
at one, and I remember one summer I just kept getting them champion shorts or just simple mesh shorts. And I just remember going on a rant and being like, what is happening? And I was like, if I ever make gear, I'm making mesh shorts first, and I'm going to make them good and affordable.
Mhm.
So
That's
I
true.
grabbed a pair of the mesh shorts that I've been wearing.
Oh, I thought you were going to grab the $80 champion shorts that he was just talking about for a
Oh
second.
no, these are $75.
Yeah,
Jeez,
they'll get
those are
pricey.
sweet.
Yeah, and I bought two pairs because the paisley ones I have that are like a split, same company. I think they're like made in house in Orange County though. So I'm like, okay, I'm probably paying for, a little bit of that too. But like these are like $80. Like, yeah, they feel a little bit more premium, not like $30 more though, because I think
Yeah,
yours are what, 49.99,
Yeah.
50, 39.
$50.
Yeah.
These are like $80. And I'm like, they're not that much different than yours. Like they have pockets, yours have pockets. I was pumped that they had pockets. So thank
Luis,
you.
do you plan on dropping any more colorways on the shorts? And then as far as like hats, like what's the next step? Are you going to release a couple different colorways in the hats?
Yeah, so there's a few ideas. I wanted to see what worked best with this one. The camo is the best seller so far. That was like kind of one that I really wanted to do because I'm like, I love camo and orange. I think that goes well. And you'll see that combo a lot. Like I didn't come up with that. Melon's doing one. There's a bunch of shops here where I live that like do merch and have camo and orange, and I just love that combo. But we do have other stuff coming out. It's funny, the American Dream collection was supposed to be one fit. My whole thing was like you can buy one fit for the price of $150 polo here. The thing was, in all things manufacturing, you have hiccups, and my polos
Yep.
aren't done yet. And it's kind of to your point earlier, like I sent them back so many times because it's a simple polo. I want to recreate like the 100%. I think mine's like 90% cotton, 10% poly, but like the OG polo with the ribbed cuff, kind of heavier. You can wear it on the course. I golf in it all the time, but it's meant to be a heavier OG polo.
You're talking
Uh,
dirty to Derek right now. He's like, he's loving
My
it.
my ears are ringing.
And like I wanted to make one of those, and so like I kept going back and forth. Like it's not right. You got to reposition the logo. We got all these little fine custom things. Anyway, the collection was supposed to be one fit, and unfortunately, like we're missing the shirt. So the polos will drop later. I have plans that I've already made sweatshirts that have been sampled. Um, Sweatshirts. I want to do socks, real simple with like the N logo on the sock. And then I want to, I'm big into sports, so like I want to eventually do some cool combos with like my favorite sports teams, right? Like from the Bay, I want to do like a gray, orange, and black one that's like Giant style, right? And then
Sure.
try to combo some sort of sweater with the same styles. And like obviously we can't put the teams on there, but like someone's gonna see that and be like, yo, those are the Giants colors, or yo, those are Niner colors, or yo, those are, whatever other team, Minnesota, right? The purple one,
Mhm.
bro. I'm doing purple something. That's
That would
for
be sick.
sure. So I have ideas. Again, I want to build my core line where I can do alternate colors on like products that are popular. So somebody can eventually be like, I got all 10 of the MBG, this hat in every
Yeah.
color, stuff like that. So there's plans. We have stuff coming.
So as
I
far
need a
as you,
hoodie. Hoodie would be
yeah,
sweet. I'm a hoodie guy. And then a hoodie in the Niners colors. Yeah, absolutely. When I got off the plane and I met with Raul, he's like, "You're even wearing the right gear." I had my big Niners hoodie. It says "Made in SF," all hail from the Bay or whatever. And he's like, "You're even in the right gear." I'm like, "Well, duh, absolutely, duh."
um, Luis,
Derek
where would you?
hates it.
Oh, I hate it. I'm just letting you talk about it. I mean, it would be better if it was in purple and gold, purple and
There we go.
yellow, but Skull Vikings, but that's okay. Where would you like to see an NBG collective in the next? I'll just say I had it kind of typed around, so I apologize. In the next year or 5 years, like what's your like overall goal?
My overall goal with the MBG Collective, and I want to do this sooner than 5 years, is that my biggest thing is I want to give back. You hear a lot of these brands say they want to give back and everything, but eventually our drops, I'm only not doing this now because I have to be set up with a 501c to properly do this. But in the future, sooner than later, every single drop that you purchase, proceeds will go to building a scholarship that we will be giving out to like a junior golfer or somebody who's coming up that we will handpick and be like, kid's coming up, he wants to learn, he or she, but doesn't have money for lessons or doesn't have money for clubs or doesn't have money. Dude, golf is expensive, bro. And like,
It
I
is.
want to make sure that every purchase goes back to building out a scholarship. And without a 501c, I can't give out a good donation to somebody without them paying taxes on it. So I want to make sure when I cut a check off of a drop. So each drop you'll be able to like you're giving back when you purchase, bro. It's not just a gimmick. It's literally we're gonna give this kid 1,500, 2 grand, whatever it may be, to go future, push his future in golf. And like that's my biggest thing. I want to be able to just each drop facilitate something dope like that. And then just get in the mix of good. Again, MBG Collective is like we want everybody to feel welcomed in the game, dude. And if we can do anything to push someone's future, like I get off. That's what my joy. Sales are great. Everyone
Yep.
loves sales and popularity is cool, but like knowing you change somebody's life, like
That's what it's all
it
about.
made me tear up right now just thinking about it. I think that's what I could have used younger. That's what 100 other million people could use. So why not do it now?
I love that. That's awesome. Is there anything that maybe we want to add that we may have missed? We'll ask a couple of rapid fire questions, and I think unless Tom wanted to mention anything.
I was kind of hoping you'd cry just because we've never had anybody cry on the pod.
I teared up a little bit. I'm a big
Did
Yeah.
tearer.
you?
My wife be making fun of me, but like I'll watch like Above the Rim and like tear up because freaking crazy. I teared up at Above the Rim, that OG basketball movie one time, and I was like, "What is wrong with me?" Like,
I'm so stupid.
It's okay. I cried in theaters.
Nothing wrong being emotional.
I cried in theaters when Paul Walker drove this way and Vin Diesel drove that way. And I was like, oh, shit. And it's like, and of course, it's the end of the movie right before the lights turn on, and I'm crying, and I'm like a grown ass kid at that point. It's like, fuck, like, damn it. But no, everything you said is exactly right. I don't talk about my photography very often, but I got a message after the shoot, and she was like, thank you for instilling a new sense of confidence in me and showing me that I am a beautiful, powerful, confident woman and everything. And I'm like, I cried on my way home. And I was like, shit, like it's those little things where it's like, I don't know how it's going to impact somebody, blah, blah, blah. And it's art that like I don't share much of just because it is so personal to that client. Um, but hearing that from somebody is like the ultimate, just like I did it right. Like all the hard work pays off. And that was before I had edited any picture. That's before I even plugged it into my computer. Just, a heartfelt thank you goes such a long way. And I feel like that has been so lost with everything because everybody wants the sales, like you were saying, they're great, but um Big Choke does that too, where they give a scholarship and they were telling us that it is the best day of their year. is when they get to give that. Doesn't matter how much money it is, but they get to give that young person, that young kid, a scholarship to wherever they want to go. That is their best moment, and I think stuff like that should never be understated.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, Derek,
All
you can
right.
ask your rapid fire questions now.
All right, couple of rapid fire questions for you, Dom. I know we kind of ask a lot of the same questions, but so if there's something that comes to mind, we can ask your question here. But the one that I wanted to ask was golf fashion trend that you love and one you'd maybe leave behind.
Golf fashion trend that I love. I was it's the same one for both, right? I was big on the rope hats when they started. Loved it.
Yep.
Now everything's a rope hat. Hate it.
It's a good answer. I like that. That's true though. It took off. The roll pack came out of nowhere again because it was a
I mean,
popular trucker hat back in the day.
when the NFL, you can always look at a sports team, and when like the NFL, all the team hats for last year were rope hats, you know it was an impact. And I swear that started in golf. I swear.
For sure.
I hate the high socks in golf. Hey, sorry, Derek, but you have
I love
really
high
shitty.
socks.
You have shitty tan lines,
I love my high socks.
dude. Your tan line because of them though is honestly one of the funniest things.
Yeah. I got hairy legs. It's hard to see regardless, so it's not
Yeah,
that bad.
but it's.
There's some pretty bad tan lines. It's not that terrible, but it's not very good.
I have a bad one from like my watch, but like yours is not very good on your legs.
Favorite piece from your collection?
The MBG, my collection.
Yep.
Definitely the camo hat.
Yeah, I think that was super dope.
This one.
Yeah.
Dream golfer to rock your gear. So somebody that like pops up to you.
Say it again.
Love just like a dream golfer that you'd love to like you hop on Instagram and all of a sudden you see this person wearing your hat or your shorts.
Other than Derek and I, of course.
Dream golfer who I'd like to wear my stuff.
Doesn't have to be professional by any means. Just somebody. It'd be pretty dope to see somebody like said you hop on Instagram. I was like, oh, dude, this musician's wearing my hat while they're just playing around a golf or something.
I think it almost has to be somebody like style forward. Like I don't think a lot of the older guys would really care, but like a Max Homa, that'd be sweet. Yeah. And like a Chipotle commercial with the MBG hat on.
That would be sick. Or just thinking like the other angle, like, I mean, not that whether or not you're a Bieber fan or somebody who's like randomly like you pop up and like you're just wearing your shorts on like.
I will say that just in general, it would be sick to see anybody wearing like, and I've thought that like, what if Bieber bought an MBG
right?
Just because he's like into golf and everything.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of like celebs like smaller brands because they're like small, people don't know about them. So to that, yeah, like it'd be sick to just see anybody like you just pop on IG and like, it's like some athletes just wearing it. Like Shador Sanders saw it or some shit. You know what I mean? Like some just random celeb.
That's right.
George Lopez, he golfs. Like imagine him.
Yeah, he's a big golfer.
I like this, right? It just like, how did you find that?
That's so cool. Tom, go ahead and ask one of your questions.
I should really start writing them down because I was like, oh, I took notes in my phone. All the notes in my phone are for ideas that Derek is not allowed to know until he and I do a podcast without a guest because it's ideas I want to do on the podcast.
Sick.
And they're not exactly good ideas.
Gotta try them out though.
Well, they're like funny, like entertaining ideas. But none of them are questions. Although I do like to ask, at the Shindig we'd walk up songs. That is one of my ideas. That's like one of the things I was like really like, hey, we're doing this or I'm not coming. What is your walk up song?
Derek, I think you picked mine. We were at the Shindig. You picked a Kendrick song. I forget which one it was.
And it was. Oh, go ahead, sir. I mean,
no, which one was it?
I'm trying to think of which one it was.
Was it Squabble Up? I just remember because he plays it, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna hit hybrid off this just to get a good placement. I chunk the hybrid, and right when I chunk it, Kendrick goes, "It's not enough." And I always do that when I chunk now. I hit a chunk, like, it's not enough. Remember
Just
that?
like perfect timing. I know. I love that was the cool thing too. Like, because everyone had such like a wide range of music, but it was like I think you said Kendrick, and I just popped something on, and it worked out perfectly. I said it made for a good story. Now we can talk about it.
Literally, chunk is and not enough. I'm like, bro, he's right. You know it.
I would never listen to it ever again. No, I'm gonna be like,
Now it's
no,
his
he's
theme song. It's great.
because now it's because I'd be like, oh, he's making fun of me. It's like
It's
when
not okay.
it's like when something, or it's like when I grew up skateboarding too. So it's like, you fall off your skateboard and then the bird crows at you and you're just like, fuck you, bird. I'd be like, my God, I chunked it. I'd be like, no, I'm never listening to that song ever again.
Um. Okay, I think that's kind of all I have for questions. We always end with a food related question. So, Dom, go ahead and take it away.
Oh, so do we want to do it as if we're in Atlanta or as if we're in California?
I think currently where you're at, California. I think
Okay. So
you're in LA now, though, or are you you're in the LA area right now?
Yeah, I'm in LA
Yeah,
now.
guys.
so it's not the Bay. I like the
I think
Bay. Go
I can do
Niners.
LA. I can do LA from the A to the Bay to LA. We're good. Anyone.
Okay. So wherever visiting, take us through where we're going to eat for the day: breakfast, lunch, dinner.
What city?
You
you
tell
know.
me.
Yeah,
That's
we can either do it.
exactly that. Like we could do it where you're at now. We could do it from the Bay. I want to go to Atlanta because the food scene I feel like is underrated. Especially I'm a big fan of Two Chains, so I've been watching him with his restaurants, and I didn't realize that all of his restaurants are vegan. And I'm like, that's sick. And I guess it's like
I didn't know that.
stupidly good food. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do Atlanta, but Atlanta's changed so much. So there's so much good stuff. So we'll do LA. You're in LA. We're here for the day. In the morning for breakfast, I'll probably take you to Bub's and Grandma's, which is this sandwich spot, but they have fire breakfast sandwiches. They make the bread there, so it's ridiculous. Like most of the restaurants in the area
Mm.
have Bub's bread. For lunch, I'm a sandwich guy, so we're gonna stick to sandwiches. I might take you to Giada. Giada's another fire sandwich spot. One of the best chicken Caesar wraps out here.
Ooh.
Uh, my wife, we always have this game. It's like, what's your death row meal, right? Mine's always going to be a deli ham sandwich with a bag of spicy Doritos. Done all day. That's what I'm always going to eat. But for dinner, we'll finish up at I think we'll go to Chifa. This is all in Eagle Rock too. Eagle Rock, shout out Eagle Rock. Chifa is a fire Peruvian restaurant. Speaking of skateboarders, last time I was there, Spike Jones, Rick Howard, and Mike Carroll are having dinner. Like, talk about, like, I don't get starstruck on celebs, but if I see
That's
athletes
an
and
that's an
skateboarders,
OG guy too. Carol's been in the game a long
yeah,
time.
like that's where they eat. So I'm like sitting there. So we're doing chifa. It's Peruvian. It's fire. They turn their back parking lot into outside seating, and so we're having sandwich, and then Peruvian food.
I'm happy you listed three places I didn't go to when I was in LA because I was like, God, he's gonna say they're really popular breakfast place that I got dragged out of bed to go to that I'm really blanking on the name. They do the cheese puffs.
I do like.
Or I take you to Atwater Village and we go to Tacos Via Corona, where they have the famous chilaquiles breakfast burritos. And then there's Black Elephant Coffee. I'll pick up a nitro there. That's like our Sunday ritual. We do Tacos Via Corona, breakfast burritos, chilaquiles, breakfast burritos. We get the coffee at Black Elephant, and then we go to the Atwater Farmers Market. That's how you start Sunday, right there.
Sunday.
Every week. So
I love that.
it would be a Sunday. We're doing that. Change of plans. That's our morning. And then we can skip lunch and we're going to Chifa.
There we go.
I also like that you said like that's like we have this conversation like the death row type of. Like, I like that we should throw that in there for our question for the rapid fire questions. Now, Don, throw that instead.
See, but like I don't know what I would answer because it'd be like, oh, just like give me like just let me go to Taco Bell, give me like $30, and then when you like zap me on the death or on like on the electric chair, I like explode. But like at least I'd go out like full of like Taco Bell.
That's what you want. Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
crazy death row meals, like serial killer style. Somebody had just a black coffee, like that's your last meal. Like you're going out like that.
I just want liquid. I just want a coffee. That's it.
Give me a black
And then
coffee
there's
and a
me.
cigarette. We're good.
And then there's me with like 10 pounds of Taco Bell, just like blow me up. Just
Order
make,
so
like,
much food that you just like, once I finish it, then you can take me. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
But I've left over for like 4 days.
yeah, exactly.
You know that 4-day
Luis,
old Taco Bell is gonna. Ooh,
yeah, that'll probably take care of you anyway. You don't even have to actually get, you know.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Luis, thank you so much, man, for hopping on the podcast. It's always great to see you again. And love to have, have you back on the podcast further down the road, talk about hopefully some other launches that you have.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For sure. Take care. Thanks so much.
Peace.
I couldn't get